Oh, yes, I saw that.
Sorry,
What is wrong with
sorry.
Charlemagne?
Yeah,
Or do you
he's
see
a
the one
wild
This
where he
boy.
was
guy's
like
crazy.
smelling, where he started smelling J-Lo's like chair?
Yeah, her seat. Yeah,
Ah, fuck this
Charlemagne's.
dude.
He did that?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
been a
after
wild
she
boy.
left.
What the fuck?
He's been a
But the
wild boy.
That's so nasty.
or the best
He
one
just
is
has no
when
filter, like he's crazy.
facts. The best one for me, I started crying is when DJ Envy told his wife that he was cheating on, like live on there.
Oh wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, you see that one?
No, I didn't see that one.
Yo, like he admitted to cheating, but like on air, and then the girl's like, "Yo, we'll just talk about this when you get home."
What the fuck?
Yeah,
And it
I
was
saw
his
the one
wife.
where he's saying that like he didn't
yeah,
make
yeah.
his wife come for 10 years. That's what I saw. I didn't see the one where he admitted
Oh
to
my
cheating.
god, wild shit, bro. Yeah, man was
That's
cheating him.
so sad for the wife.
Yeah, these
What
people
an
are wild.
asshole.
Well,
Yeah, that's fucked
yeah.
up.
Yeah, but welcome back to Untold Gems, guys. We've got a credit episode today. We're going to talk about everything that has to do with credit, credit cards, credit score, buying appliances and things with credit, buying cars with credit. So this was mainly Charles. Charles has a lot to say about this, and I'm going to let him start the podcast today.
Yeah, I mean, we all were in a constant environment where we talk to people who make questionable decisions every single day. So I think that, especially with credit, it comes to the point where you have to consider: do I need this, and do I want this, and then how does that impact your day-to-day life? Because we spoke about many times of like people making a high salary, but they still live paycheck to paycheck. And I think because of that is because they have so much access to credit. So I think that, I mean, we did like a real estate episode where, like there are different ways to utilize your credit to build up assets or to have cash flow or to potentially take loans to secure yourself business credit and actually build a reliable business. So I think that giving people different options and like making them more sensitive to the topic of credit will actually be more beneficial long term to the people, to the viewers, and whoever they share those experiences with.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people ask the question like, what can I do to improve my credit, first of all? So do you have any tips on that?
Well, I'll say this, like for me, I started working. Well, I got my first credit card in 2017. In 2022, I was able to buy multiple properties just by using the trips. And like, it's different when you work at a bank because you actually see how credit is used, and credit isn't.
Yeah.
Credit essentially is just a game of how much can you show upfront. And what I mean by that is that for people who don't know, you have a statement date and you have a payment date. And my trick was when I knew, let's say for example, we're the 22nd, I guess, no, 19th. Okay, so if I knew my payment date was the 19th every single month, what I used to do is that I used to have a $500 credit limit. So I always used to be at 500 because you can't spend anything without spending close to 500. So every time I was close to the 19, essentially I would pay 50% or 70% of my balance to bring it down to below 250. When my statement got printed on the 19, essentially it sent all my information to Equifax and TransUnion, and every single month they saw that, while this guy stays below his 30%, essentially you're not supposed to use 30% of your credit limit every single month. So essentially for 27 days out of the month, I was at my credit limit. But for those 3 days before I made my payment, I was able to show the credit bureau that I wasn't utilizing my credit as much as I was supposed to. And that way, the credit bureau gets updated, the bank gives you credit limit increases, pre-approved, then you're able to have a bigger spread as well. So essentially, and what I mean by the 30% rule is that if your credit limit is $10,000, you can't have more than $3,000 on it when your statement is printed, which means when your information is sent over to Equifax. So that's probably the fastest way or the easiest way for you to be able to actually increase your limit and actually increase your credit score quickly without having to go dispute certain things on your credit file as well.
Don't credit card companies want you to spend more money? I feel like there's so much different information when it comes to like the tips and tricks that you can do to increase your credit. Like for me on my credit card right now, I'm trying to spend as much money as possible. Like for my Amazon inventory, I try to spend as much as possible. So you're saying I should lower it before the statement actually prints?
Well, you use a business credit cards. That's different things. And the way it works is that I'll say this: not all credit cards and credit companies are made equal.
Hmm.
So, for example, credit card companies want to have a balance, want you to spend more. That's why they give you incentives to get points, etc. Because the more credit, essentially, the way it works is that Visa and Mastercard get paid with a frequency that you use your credit card. So essentially, they get a fee from the merchant every time you use your credit card. That's why back in the day, most companies or most stores, restaurants didn't accept credit cards for a certain amount. You have to spend X amount to be able to use credit cards. Banks want you to have a balance on your account because that's how they get interest. If you don't have a balance on your account, the bank doesn't make any money because you don't pay any interest. So once you understand that, is like, I'm not saying you can't have a balance, but when you understand that, okay, well, for me, if you have one credit card and your only credit card that is credit limit, then you basically shot yourself in the foot. But if you have, and this is going to be very specific to the Canadian market, but let's say, for example, if you have RBC reports its credit report to TransUnion. Scotia does the same thing too. Desjardins does the same thing. CIBC, National Bank, send the information over to Equifax. So let's say, for example, you have one credit card that's for Equifax, or that's reported to Equifax, and the other one that's reported to TransUnion. And then you could play around with your credit cards to say, okay, well, I don't have to report, or I don't have to make 30% on both. Essentially, it's not all banks that report the same thing. So if you want to get a loan and you know that your loan is going to be done with Equifax, then you'll want to take care of those credit cards that have to deal with that credit bureau. And that's basically the same thing. So for people who have business credit, if you're not personally guaranteeing your credit card, then essentially that's on the business itself, and that's the business credit as well. So that doesn't impact your actual personal credit score.
Okay.
Do you know how it works for business credit? Like, can you build a credit score for your business? Like, how is that?
Yeah,
How would
yeah.
that work?
Of course.
So you do. So the way it works is that when you first start, essentially your business is like an infant. So when you're an infant, same way your parents had to sign for you to be able to do like activities, etc., you have to sign for your business to have credit. So essentially the way it works is that
Mm,
you'll personally guarantee the loan. For example, let's say if I had a trucking company and then the truck costs $30,000. I can't get $30,000 loan on my credit because the credit for the business is in its infancy. So essentially, they'll say, okay, well, look, you have 10 years plus of credit history, your credit score that's 720. You have to personally guarantee the loan for your truck. So let's say, for example,
mm,
the business defaults, it's on me to pay back the $30,000 for my truck. But let's say,
yeah.
for example, 5 years go by, I pay off the truck, and then afterwards I need to get a second truck. They'll say, okay, well, looks like you were able to pay off, or the business was able to pay off the truck without a problem. You could get a second truck, another $30,000, without you having to personally guarantee the loan again. And then afterwards, you're also able to get a credit card, things like line of credits. But that all comes
Yeah.
for you opening up a business bank account, and then afterwards I'll give you a business credit card, and then afterwards I'll give you a business loan. So it's a gradual process, but it all depends on what type of business you have and the type of risk associated with the business you have as well.
Yeah, so it works the same as like normal credit, just
Yeah,
separate for your business,
For
I
your
guess. That's cool. I
business.
yeah,
never knew that you could do that. Yeah, I never knew that that was a thing.
yeah. That's the hack in the States now.
Yeah,
When
like
people
Sasha,
just get,
technically we don't have any business credit right now because we're doing
yeah,
it like
Yeah,
on
yeah, because
personal.
we're still proprietor, yeah. So pretty much it's all on us. But yeah, that's interesting to know. I have a question. Because I remember seeing somebody post on Twitter like a long time ago, and they were like, "Oh, to improve your credit, like go finance a mattress." And this guy was like, "Oh, I financed a $1,000 mattress to be able to build my credit." What's your opinion on that? Because I personally, I was like, "That's so stupid," but prove me wrong. Like, do you think that's a good idea?
Well, I'll say this: 2 reasons why I was able to get a mortgage at a young age is that once you're able to, once you show that you're able to make consistent payments without missing one, then it builds up your credit score. So people who have a car loan, people who have a student loan that you pay back every single month, your credit score shot up because you make consistent payments every single month. So there are two types of credit.
Yeah.
So there's revolving credits, and then there's installment payment credit. So revolving credit is when you have a limit, you spend whatever you want, but you have to make sure that you meet the criteria so that it doesn't impact your credit. And then afterwards is ones when you make installment payments, like a phone bill, things like that, your car, and that helps you build your credit faster because you're consistent with those payments. So it is a good idea, but I want to tell people to get a mattress, things like that, because and we all seen this. When you go buy appliances or things like that, the interest rate is a lot higher.
Yeah,
So
it's so dumb. Yeah.
So you'll start like at 6%, 7%, because it just shows you don't have cash on hand to buy the mattress upfront.
Yeah.
So I want to tell people to get a unnecessary inquiry on their credit score, especially if it's for $1,000. Like if you're gonna get an inquiry, make sure it's actually valuable. But the premise of having something that is a consistent bill payment, I think that is a good idea for you to, especially when you're young, having a phone bill. And people don't realize how important having a phone bill is. When people are late on a phone bill, that's probably the biggest thing that hinders them from being able to apply for a mortgage and things like that. Because sometimes when you don't pay,
it's such a stupid thing too. Like it's such a small thing that you think it wouldn't affect you.
Yeah.
But that's fucked up. Imagine like you missed your phone bill and then you can't get a house. Like
you'll be surprised. A lot of people have their phone.
I would die.
They have their phone billed on collections because they didn't pay.
But that's
and then once you're in collection, it's game over. So then it's harder for you. Then you have to go dispute it. This and that. So people, put your phone bills on your credit card if you have a good credit card. If not, give yourself a reminder because $50, $80, $100 is not enough for you to not be able to buy a house. Like there's more important things to that. So if you take care of the small things, then the big things you won't have an issue with.
Yeah, I remember I had so many calls when I was working in like telecom about that. So people were calling saying, you guys put me in collection and now I can't buy a house because of this, or like they're not allowing me to get a mortgage because of that one ding from a phone company. And yeah, it's so stupid. Like you don't even know what to say to those people because it makes no logical sense as to why you wouldn't be able to get a mortgage if you've had an issue with a phone company once.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say this might be off topic, or I wanted to get you guys' opinion. Like, when there's buying mattresses or buying furniture, or now I think they do it with laptops, MacBooks, there's 0% loans.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first year, I think it's like 0%. Would you rather like pay upfront or still like enjoy the fact that you can pay it slowly and not pay any interest?
Upfront.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say it is that I'll say this, and I'll bring it to like dating. You don't want to be that guy who goes ask somebody for a drink and the girl says no, and then you go ask another girl, you look desperate. Essentially, credit works the same way. If I went, for example, to apply for a mortgage, I went to go see CIBC. CIBC said no. The next week, I go see National Bank. The next week afterwards, I go see TD, and so on and so on. They're going to say, well, this guy looks too desperate for credit. What's going on? They'll decrease your credit score first off because you made too many inquiries. And then, for example, let's say a year later, you fix your credit. They'll say, why did you have so many inquiries within the same time period? So I think if you have the cash on hand, then it's not something that is a big amount, substantial amount that you can save up for, do it. Because the more inquiries you have on your credit report, and if they're not justifiable, and then you just make your situation a lot harder.
Yeah, no, definitely. But let's say you get like a 2K laptop, and they allow you to do it over a year at 0%. I feel like there's two ways of thinking about it. I think if you pay it all up front, yeah, you don't have any more monthly expenses, like it's paid and it's done for, but you've also taken $2,000 out of your pocket. But I'm just playing devil's advocate here because that's what I would do. I would pay it up front. But then if you don't pay it up front and you choose to pay it in installments, you're going to have monthly expenses, but you'd keep that $2,000 to do other things with. You know what I'm saying? Like you can flip.
I agree with you, but I think most people don't flip. I think any logical person would have said, "Let me take this 2K, I'll put the 2K somewhere. It'll give me 10K."
Yeah.
Most people would say, "I'm gonna take that 2K, save. I'm gonna go on vacation. Now you have 4K in debt."
Yeah. A lot of people are not even gonna use it strategically, so it's true.
Okay.
That's why I agree. I agree with you, Chris. That like essentially, and that's how you play business. If you play business, at the end of the day, I'll say this: leveraging credit is probably the way, or it is the way actually that I'm able to have a network that's higher than the most. Because most people gain wealth through real estate faster than people who invest in the stock market. It's only a question of time and paying off your debt. But at the same time, too,
Yeah.
if I had to say, if you have one inquiry or two inquiries that you're able to do every 24 months, I'm not gonna spend or wasting inquiry on something that gives me less than $100,000 or less than 10K. You know, if you tell me it's 2K and you gotta have an inquiry on your account, stop it. Give me that 20K loan. Give me a 40K loan. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But at least you shoot for the stars.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
And then that's it. Because essentially, I tell people, you want to do at least one inquiry at least every 24 months. Because people will tell you do it every 6 months, and you just look desperate.
I have a question. Do you know if soft credit checks affect your credit? Like if, like, for example, if I were to inquire about getting insurance for my car, and you know how they do like usually a soft credit check, do you know if that affects your credit?
Yes, it does, but not to the same point as a hard credit score. Like you'll probably get like a point off or 2 points, doesn't matter. But the only hard verifications are like a mortgage, a car loan,
Okay.
financing for a loan, etc. But the soft credit checks, they're just there just to verify your identity and see how your payment history adds up. But it's not something that
Yeah.
is the end of the world.
Yeah, when I got car insurance, I had checked like 10 different insurances. And then like I get my credit report and I see a list of like 10 things. I was like, what the fuck? And then like I think I spoke to like the credit bureau or whatever, and they were basically saying that it's like it doesn't look good if you have all of these inquiries. And I was like, that's so fucking stupid, because when you call the insurance companies, they tell you, oh, don't worry, it's not going to affect your credit. And that pissed me off because I was like this, like there's so much, I find there's so much misinformation, and like I guess it's not the company's job to inform you, like you should be informed yourself, but it's also like nobody actually knows how credit works 100%. There's so much misinformation. I've called Equifax multiple times and they've told me different information, and I just find that the whole system is so unorganized. It's not clear. And I hate the whole concept of credit, but I do agree that if you like avoid it, that's not going to make your situation any better. So I've come to the conclusion that like I have to suck it up and deal with it, because that's just the way that our society is set up, our world is set up. But yeah, that like that pissed me off, because I find like everyone is so misinformed when it comes to credit. Even bank workers, like when we were working at the bank, I remember asking like the people above us, like managers, like, oh, how does this work? Nobody knew the answer.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I supposed to tell these clients?
Yeah.
So yeah, I find it's just like they should teach this in school. They should have a clear explanation of how it works, and they should teach it.
Yeah, because when you look at the actual history of credit was done to provide people like an equitable chance of being able to get approved for like financing. But if you actually look at what makes your credit score, that's your formula. It's like 50% installment payments, this and that, age history, things like that. But the actual calculation or the percentage points is just an abbreviation. Nobody's gonna give you the actual formula itself. Yeah. That's what makes your credit score a lot valuable. And that's why I think people get misinformed, because they don't know what falls into that category. For example, if I tell you, okay, I'll tell you this. Let's say, for example, you're a young professional, you just finished university. You need a new house, you need a new car, you need a new credit card, and then afterwards you're looking for appliances. You know, most people are gonna say, let me look for a car first, let me look for a mortgage, and afterwards and they'll do it in different order, but they'll probably go car, mortgage, and then appliances in most likelihood. But at the same time too, for example, if you apply for the car, then once you apply for the mortgage, they're gonna see that you apply for a car, and then after that hinders your chances of getting a mortgage afterwards. So that's why you have to like be strategic with credit. You have to say, okay, what's the hardest thing to get first, which is a car. Yeah. So then afterwards, you get a not a car, it's a mortgage first.
It's a house, not yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's a mortgage that's the hardest thing to get first. So you get a mortgage first, and then afterwards you wait a bit, get a car, and then go down the line. But at the same time, too, I think most people, they'll just say, okay, let me just get this in a chronological order. And then afterwards, they'll just deal with the repercussions. And then afterwards, they'll ask why my credit score go down 60 points. And I think that's what people don't understand, because it's like, once you understand that you can't look desperate to a credit bureau, then I think it makes a lot of sense for you to be strategic with how you use your credit.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, like that you don't want to look desperate to them, because I never really thought of it that way. But I've been a lot more careful about not having inquiries ever since the whole thing with my insurance happened. Because I'm just like, I just don't want any inquiries at all on
Yeah.
my account whatsoever.
No, but I agree with that. And I'll say this: it's sad that we don't have this information, especially now that people are looking to get a house, looking to get a car, etc. When we're in when the word recession is thrown out, it is a lot harder for you to get financing, regardless if you have a good credit score or not. It's just that the focus for the bank to reduce their risk is very high. So I think that, like Sasha said, just understanding the premise of, okay, well, what could I do not to get inquiries? If, for example, there's a point where you say never ask, like you don't want to get to a point where you have to ask for credit. And what I mean by that is, for example, if you're applying for a mortgage, and let's say, for example, we're not in recession, don't go wait 6 months and then get line credit. If they're offering the line credit right then, take it, take the credit card, etc. And then it's one inquiry, and then you're left with line credit, left with credit card, right? Home equity line credit, etc. And that's one inquiry, and you didn't look desperate because it was offered to you. But for example, let's say, for example, you have your roof is leaking, and then afterwards you need 10K for repairs. Then what you do, you don't have a line of credit, you don't have a home equity line of credit, you don't have a credit card for you to be able to do something with. You gotta go from bank to bank to bank, look
begging.
for 10K, begging, look desperate, they'll say no. Then you have to go towards a private lender that's gonna charge you 10 to 12%, as low as 8% for you to get 10K for you to fix your roof. So especially if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of cash on hand, be very careful with your credit and be proactive instead of being reactive. I think that's probably the best advice I could give.
Yeah. I've heard some people do like credit checks all on the same day, or they apply for mortgages, cars all on the same day. That way, by the time the companies check, the others haven't checked yet and all of that. So I think we definitely need someone to come on. Like I know someone, I think Charl, well, you definitely know him too, because you introduced me to him. But I had a long conversation with Jonathan, and bro, this guy knows, like he was giving me tricks and tricks and tricks about everything that has to do with your credit and getting loans.
Yeah, because essentially the way it works is that, let's say, for example, I'm like, okay, I need a mortgage done, I need a car loan, etc. The credit board basically updates your credit file every 30 days. So if you know that, you're like, okay, well, for example, and this was popular for people who were doing thorough. Essentially, what they would do is they would go to 5 different dealerships. Let's say, for example, your credit score was 720. They go to 5 different dealerships in the same day, get approved for a certain car, get as much as they can on one day. Then afterwards, get a car, etc., put it on the road. 30 days afterwards, your credit score is destroyed because you made a lot of inquiries that day. But then afterwards, you have a year. Yeah, from the original inquiries that you made on that same day. Essentially, they would build up the credit 1 year later, redo the same thing again and again, and that's how they were able to have multiple cars having cash flow for them on the streets.
That's so funny.
But once you understand how credit works, is that you're able to play around with it and do different things. But the key is for you to start off with your credit. That's the thing. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I want to do all these things, but your credit score is 640. Your credit score is not even 500. So I think understanding the premise, how to get to good credits, and then once you have good credit, then you're able to do all these fancy things. Because I wouldn't be in real estate if I didn't have good credits, and like, best believe I didn't have any cash on hand to go buy an expensive property. Most of the credit brought me into the door, So once you're able to leverage credit gives you access to cash, and then cash gives you access to rich.
I have a question. If you had somebody that never had a credit card, they never really had anything that was like financed or leased, whatever, and let's just say they're like, so they're credit, because like when you haven't like had any credits, your credit score is like, I guess it's really low because you've never
Mm.
really had anything. What would you recommend for somebody who's never really gotten into credit? They don't have a credit card. They've never had anything that helped them build their credit, and they're just starting out. So this could be like somebody that's 30 years old or something. Because I remember having calls of people that were in their 30s or 40s, and they were like, I don't know what to do. What do I do?
Yeah,
And I
so
was like,
it's
I can't believe like it's like some people don't know, like they don't start doing this until in their late 30s or late 40s, and that's fine because unfortunately it's not really taught. But what would be like the first step that you would recommend for somebody in that type of situation?
yeah. So the first thing I would do, let's say for example, my credit score was like below 680. One of the first things I would do is that if I wasn't pre-approved for a credit card by bank, I will go get a secured credit card. And what I mean by secured, you have Capital One. I'm sure you could contact your local branches and see if they still offer secured credit cards. But essentially, what you do is that you provide the bank $500,000 of your own money. They'll say, okay, well, this is your credit limit. And then afterward, they'll give you a credit card. So essentially, it's your own 5,000 or 500 or your own $1,000 that you're using yourself. So first off, you need to stack up $500 minimum for you to have a secure credit card. Once you have a secure credit card, what I would do is that I would put my phone bill on my credit card. I would put my phone bill on my credit card, have automated payments for your phone bill. So you have your phone bill working for you. You have a credit card you'll pay off every single month, hopefully. And then afterwards, I wouldn't make any transactions. Let's say, for example, you have 500. I would get a Starbucks. And I would get at least something under $100 and pay it off every single month for at least 12 to 24 months. Once that you see that your credit score is established to a certain point, then I would get something for an installment payment, aka furniture, aka a MacBook, aka anything that gives you monthly payments to add on to your phone bill. And then afterwards, that should help you increase your credit score to a sufficient amount. And before, people used to say, 680 gets you approved. I think that now we're at like 710. If you want to get improved but have a good interest rate, you won't get a good
No
interest rate if
way.
you're below 710.
But you don't think, because I think in another episode you had said like during a recession banks are more likely to give out credit because they want people to continue spending, and like
Mm-hmm.
nobody really has money anymore because everything's so expensive, so their income doesn't allow them to spend, so then they go out and get loans. Is that true? Like
100%. And you see this. Have you guys noticed how many pre-approved credit cards are out there? How many
Mhm.
um get open a bank account, have a credit card pre-approved, etc. Why? Because people don't have cash. And when people don't have cash, people get desperate. And what's the closest thing to cash is your credit card. So
Yeah.
essentially, if you're not educated on your wants and needs, essentially what's going to happen is that you will spend as much as you can on useless things, be maxed out, and the bank is only going to make interest payments off you. And essentially, those interest payments are dividend dollars for me and for every investor. So once you understand that game is like, there's a reason why they're giving you credit. It's because they know in most likelihood you won't pay it off in full every single month. And that's just profit for them. So I think that's why people have to be careful, because yes, it's credit accessible and the banks have too much money to give out, so they'll give it out. But you have to be educated enough to say, let me leverage this so I can make money off the bank and not the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was completely against credit cards growing up. Like, I didn't want to fuck with it because, yeah, I had heard so many horror stories with credit card and things going wrong. But there is actually a good way to spend money with your credit card,
Yeah.
especially if you have a business. If you have a
Let
business,
me
then credit cards are like the debit card. We don't even use debit cards. We use
there
credit
you
cards
go.
only.
Guys,
There you go.
points and cash back.
Cash back.
The end.
Yeah.
And like we all do Amazon. I think we're on cash back with minimum at least close to $400 easily. I know you guys are different kind of beasts. So if you could share how much cash back you guys had, and that's just based on using your credit cards for actual business, you guys see how interesting life could get. There's just first off, whoever
It's
uses
fucking
the debit.
crazy, guys. Like,
Let me talk shit about debit cards, because whoever uses the debit card, you are dumb.
I
You are dumb. You are dumb if
agree.
you are dumb. I'll give you an example. If you get fraud on your bank accounts, it takes the bank at least 15 to 90 days for you to get your money back.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't touch your own money. So you can't pay your bills, you can't pay your car, etc., etc. But if you use your credit card, it gets frauded. They send you on one, maybe 7 days max. You still have your bank account where you can use the debit cards, and then afterwards, any fraudulent transaction, they refund you back the money. And you don't have to prove it. The security department is gonna do it. So essentially, and first off, you don't get any cash back. You don't get any points. So you're legit using your money, not getting anything in return, and you're losing out a lot of money on the table. So I think that
And it's not helping you build your credit either. Like,
there you
there's
go.
really no point.
Like
Here's
I'll
the
tell
here's
people,
the here's the best rule as a consumer. If you're a consumer, if you don't own a business and you want to use credit cards, the only thing that you should keep in mind is that you need to have the money with you already
yeah,
in your bank account, in your debit or checking account when you put things on your credit card.
yeah,
So don't put things on your credit card if you don't already have the money in your account to back it up. The only reason why you want to use credit cards is to get like points or cash back. So that's it. And you shouldn't use your debit card.
yeah. Especially for trips. Let's say, for
Mm.
example, let's say if we're all going on a trip, we'll say that the trip is 2K. And if I had 2K on my bank account, I would put 2K on my credit card, pay off the 2K
And that's it.
on my
Yeah.
bank account,
You
then you
can
get the
even pay it
points.
off. You can even pay it off beforehand. You can even pay
Yeah,
it off.
prepaid,
Like
yeah.
you can, prepay the credit card and then add
I
it.
always do that, yeah.
So
But I think at the end of the day, I think people have a distrust for the banking system, understandable. But at the same time, too, I think us working in the banking system and working for credit cards were a bit more exposed to the possibilities of
100%, yeah.
leveraging the bank. But at the same time, too, you have to use the bank to your advantage. I will never say the bank got one over me till this day, till I die. No way, no chance, you know? And once you look at it like that, it's like you have to be strategic and look at it like, how could I leverage this transaction in my favor? If you're able to get cash back, points, you leverage the transaction in your favor. But if you gave Visa money, if you gave the merchant money, and you gave the bank money, and you left out the transaction with $0 or zero benefits, you lost out.
yeah, it's literally you versus the bank, and it's not even that hard to win. Like it's not even complicated to not lose money to the bank.
First off, I know we don't talk stocks anymore, but Visa, MasterCard, if you're not invested, you're sleeping. I'll say that.
Oh,
Because
100%.
every time somebody uses their credit card, I get cash. I get a dividend. So when we look at it like that, and
Yeah,
like
that's
Sasha
crazy.
said, a lot of people are gonna be using their credit cards, who are the two biggest financial institutions in terms of credit card issuers.
Yeah. Guys, what do you think about using your credit from your credit card to buy Amazon inventory, and then once you get your payout, you pay it? Because a lot of people do that. A lot of people on YouTube, Twitter, they all talk about using, like, leveraging their credit card credit, and then and they're borrowing the money. They don't have the money already, you know, but they know that they're going to have the money quickly. What's your opinion on that?
You know, I did that when I first started. Don't like it. Because I think I'll say this. So if you know your inventory like the back of your hand, and you know it takes you 7 days for you to sell out, do it. But when you buy a new product and then after you don't know how long it's gonna sell, Amazon goes into the product and then you have to do a return. You have a balance
Yeah,
that's owing.
I think it's really important to make sure that you're a pro when it comes to, like, sourcing or choosing products, because if, like, exactly like you said, if you end up buying a bad product that doesn't sell when you expected it to sell, it's like you're not going to have that payout to go pay your credit card.
Yeah, that's why I say always have the money already there. Because
Yeah.
let's say it's in your account level reserve, like it's gonna get paid out to you by Amazon and it's already there. Imagine just something happens to the payment, like they lose the payment and you owe $50,000 on your credit card. You're fucked, bro. Like there's no.
Yeah, I'd kill myself.
What are you gonna do? That's what I'm saying.
No,
So
but you see,
I've never done it. I've always had the money to back it up in my account before paying the credit card. But like if I had done that, I wouldn't have had any issues so far. So it's never happened that they've misapplied a payment or anything like that. It's never happened. But I've still never done it. I've never tried to. Yeah.
100%. And you see, like doing Chris's approach when you have the money on hand and you just pay off your credit card and then you keep the profits. a lot less stressful. I'll say that because
there's no stress.
There's no stress. At least you pay it off. It doesn't come back to you. You'll have a portion, put it back to buy new inventory. Because I think that, especially once you're trying to scale and you have to buy orders of like 100 units, 1,000 units, etc. Like if you're not applying interest business credit and you're just waiting, and you're not a pro and you're just starting out, I think it's a very dangerous slope.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine your prep center loses the shipment. Imagine it takes.
Yeah, I was about to say, imagine your shipment gets lost. I was about to say that too.
So if it's like,
I think if you have no capital, I think if you have zero, like if you really don't have a lot of capital, I think the risk could be worth it. But like you have to be ready to take that risk because like technically you never know what can happen.
No, but also if you don't have a lot of capital, it probably means you're also new at this. So
that's what I was thinking too.
You might get it all wrong. Like you might not do it right.
Like Chris said, on our Amazon episode, having $500, $1,000 cash ready, and then you just keep the profits rolling on, probably the best thing you could do. Because if you start with $500 in your credit card, it could pass by. But especially with your first shipment, it's not like you're gonna sell out in 2 weeks.
But as you scale too, you even have to keep cash on reserves for taxes, income tax, sales tax. So like there has to be money in your account regardless. And so
about that.
Like get used to it.
And like paying your prep center and like if you're paying for anything.
Bills, you have employees, you have to pay them. Like you can't
expenses, all of that.
You can't be low on cash when you have a business. You have to have some sort of cash reserve.
Yeah, cash reserve is king, and even though we talked about real estate, cash reserve for any business is mandatory. And I think that, we talk about credit and we talk about credit versus cash, etc. But it's like cash is still king. Credit could be your best friend, but cash is still king. So having the option to say, okay, well, this cash is there in case if I need it, and it's there for emergency, I can just leverage your credit. Good, but just going on credit and not having any cash is a very dangerous slope.
Yeah. I want to talk about like mistakes that we've made with credit. But actually before that, because Charl, did you grow up in a household that was like did your parents educate you on credit when you were young? Like, were you well aware of how it worked? No?
I'll say this, especially
what was your like experience with that growing up? I'm curious.
I'll say this. My parents are first generation immigrants in like Canada, and like when immigrants came to Montreal and Canada, the banking system was completely different from what they're used to, and the banks were predators in terms of like giving student loans, high interest rates, etc. So I think that's where the distrust comes in because all your experiences aren't positive with the banking system. So for me, like Chris said, I used to be the kid who had money in a shoebox until high school. Like I didn't like I had a bank account like at 14. Like my parents taught me like having importance of a bank account. And like Chris spoke, we didn't talk about investing. We didn't talk about how to multiply money. I will start to save, keep cash in under your pillow, under your mattress, whatever, in case of emergency, and that's it. Once I got into like college, I started taking business courses. Then you realize like shit, a lot of people have cash, but they don't use their own cash. They use somebody else's cash. Other people's money is probably the best way for you to leverage up faster. And once I got exposed to that, once I finished, went to the banking system, and then afterward, that's when I understood the importance of credit. And once I understood credit, it was like, okay, well, this is my chance for you to, or my chance for me to fill in the gap for the time that I have cash. If you don't have cash, the best way, or the second best thing you could do is have credit. And at least it evens out the playing field a bit. Because if you wait for you to have cash and you have to save up, you're always going to be behind.
Yeah. And so, like, with your experiences, did you ever have any, like, fuck-ups?
I wouldn't say fuck-ups because I waited late to have a credit card. I didn't have a credit card at 18. Like, for me, what I used to do, as you guys know, I suffered from retail therapy. So, essentially, I had to hinder I would buy a lot of clothes or buy a lot of shoes. So, my mom was fortunate enough to be able to buy those clothes for me when I had the money. I paid her, and then things were good. So I only got my credit card. We started working at the bank. So 2017, I was 21. So I kind of skipped because I knew if I had a credit card, I'd be collections. Because a lot of people get a credit card, but you're trying to stunt. So I
think when you're young, it's dangerous. It's really dangerous.
Yeah. So I waited till I was 21, and we had the training. And for people who don't know, we used to work at banking system, etc. So you have to train on how to use a credit card. And you can't be, or I find it hard for you to be in a banking system and not use your banking skills for your own benefit.
Yeah.
So I don't think I made I don't think I made credit mistakes because I was smart with my credit. But I think that when you make a lot of money and you're trying to go out, I think that I spend my credit card on things that, like, I didn't need to spend things on my credit card. Like, sometimes you're trying to stunt and say, I'll put on my credit card. But with that money, I paid things. I could have just, like, bought more stocks or bought more assets.
Oh, for sure.
But probably I wouldn't say it was a mistake, but it's probably me being naive. Once I got my car loan, I was like, oh, bet I got a car I wanted. I got a nice car, especially for my age, being young, etc. But the interest rate was 7% or 6.9.
Oh my god!
And I was like, okay, well, it was my first time. I didn't have any credit besides the credit card, and I needed a car because back in the day, I used to have a 1998 Toyota Tercel green, So for people who don't know, like, and for people born under 2000, like, go Google that, But I was due for a car, and like I had 7%, and once you compare it to other people and you're talking about the interest rates, it was only the immigrants that had 5%, 6%, 8%. And then if you talk to people who had experience with credit, the average was 2, 4, 3%. And that's why I realized, I was like,
yeah, because that seems really high.
It is high, like, and thank gosh it allowed me for the chance to be able to get a mortgage, etc. But till this day, I look at the interest rate, I'm like, I paid legit a lot, like 4K in interest when I could pay.
Are you still paying your car?
Yeah, I got 6 months left. December, I'm out.
Let's go.
Yeah,
so
it's
close.
the same
so
car.
Close.
The same car.
Same car. We drive till the wheels fall off, and like that's what talk about afterwards. Like, try not to spend your money, even though you have money. Like, I could upgrade my car, and I'm like debating if I should, but for a different day.
Oh, yo, I need to upgrade this phone, bro. I have the iPhone X, and we're at the iPhone 14 soon.
Yeah, we're gonna get to 14. So.
I'm 4 years. I'm 4 years behind. Like, I've had this phone for 5 years, maybe. Yeah, when was it? I don't know when it was released.
No, I think it's even more. Yours is 2 years behind mine, so I think yours is like 5 years now. Because mine's 3 years. Mine's gonna be 3 years when it comes out. That's crazy.
How does my dad have a newer phone, like a way newer phone? I think it was like
God.
the 13 Pro or something.
Yeah, but at least your phone bill is really low because
my phone bill is so low. Like I
is
don't
a lot more.
My phone
but you see, that's the benefit of it, and like. You look at these car prices, these phone bills. I'm like, I'm not trying to add on more bills.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like, that's why, like, I could get a new car, but I don't feel like paying $400 for a new car.
Yeah, facts.
And that's the standard. If anybody pays under $400, you're stealing money at this point. Because I know people paying $1K.
Oh yeah,
me too.
Me too.
For foreign, and like your mortgage is supposed to be at least $1K. So imagine paying your mortgage and a car, you're $2K in. Like, couldn't be me.
Guys, like, imagine your salary is like 3-4K and your car is 1K, your mortgage is 1K, your food and your everything else is 1K. Like you have no more money left.
No, but that's most people. Because let's say, for example,
my car is really cheap, so I'm really lucky. But most people I know, their cars are a lot more expensive than mine.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I think going to, like, especially when you start making money, like, okay, well, I deserve this. When you say I deserve this,
you're like, I bet I can get this new car. Yeah.
There you go. And I'll say this:
over.
Just because you could afford the monthly payment doesn't mean you could afford the actual purchase. And rewind, if you could afford the monthly payment, doesn't mean you could afford the purchase. Because a lot of people are gonna say, it's $500. I make $2K per month or $2K biweekly. I can afford it. But if you look at it for 5 years, you basically pay something 40K. Or 60K or 100K. How many investment properties could you buy if you just put $500 bi-weekly in a savings account and then you go buy something?
It's crazy.
Yeah, I used to be so against credit. I used to be like, fuck credit. I'm just gonna buy everything cash, and I kind of still live by that. Like, I don't want to buy something. I think I'll still obviously like finance things, but it's like, I don't want to buy it if I don't feel like I have enough money to actually buy it, Like, if I want to buy a Tesla and I don't have 50K to my name, it's like, why do I think I deserve a 50K car if I don't have 50K?
You need more
so
than 50K.
I really like,
You need
Yeah,
a lot more than
even
50K.
that needs to be like a portion of what you have, you know? So it's like I think I really strongly believe that when it comes to like cars and homes and stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean maybe not homes, that would be a bit hard, but even with homes actually, like I don't know, I used to be super against credit. I was like fuck credit, fuck the credit system and everything, but yeah, I just think that you need to have like you need to make sure that you actually have the money before going and signing 10 years of your life to paying 1K a month, you know,
Yeah.
it's a big commitment.
Yeah, you see, and that's probably my biggest credit mistake, like my car, like you're a young professional making money, but once you realize like shit, I don't have that money in my bank account, but you're financing it over a
Yeah,
lifespan, then you're like, doesn't make sense. But I think like Sasha said, if your network is this, or if you go buy it twice, buy it. Like I think like you need to have at least
yeah,
three
that's a good
X.
rule.
You need to have 3X your
Yeah,
network for you to be able to buy a car.
yeah,
If your car isn't 3X your network, don't buy it. So a
yeah,
lot of
I
people, if
like
you
that.
if you use that rule of thumb, you'll be driving a Kia, you'll be driving the Toyota, you'll be driving Toyota, but that's a lot of
Most
people fit in
people,
that category.
yeah, but most people can't do that. They don't have the ego for it. Their ego is too
There,
big for that.
there you go.
Yeah,
And for me to
the
pay
word,
1K per month for a car, I'd have to be making at least 10K a month. Like
yeah,
it would have to
yeah,
be
exact amount, exactly.
1/10 of what I'm doing, bro.
But look at this.
I
I'll
was
say this.
thinking the same thing.
And it's a business expense. It would have to
There
be
you
tax
go.
deductible.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah,
'Cause
facts.
and that's the beauty of it. Let's say, for example, we drive 30% of the time. That's $700 that you're able to just pay out of pocket, and then you keep $300 instead of
Yeah.
paying 1K. And I think that's what people don't understand is that how can you leverage this position in your favor? Like, I'm not saying you need to be an entrepreneur, but if you're gonna pay 1K, figure out a way for you to have some money back. Because most of the time
Yeah,
you're just driving your car 2 hours per day. You're not driving
Mhm.
your car 8 hours a day. You go to work, your car is in a parking lot
yeah,
or is in the metro, or some people take the metro, they drive their car as well. So if the pandemic taught us that at the end of the day, the world could stop in any second. How could you have something that is a liability and actually try to make some money out of it?
Facts.
yeah.
Um,
I want to talk about like because I had asked you, Charles, like about mistakes that you made. Chris,
Yeah.
is there any mistakes that you made?
I
Because
want to know
I'll
about
tell
the
you guys
mistakes
about
that
something that
you
I
made,
did when I
because
was
I
Yeah,
don't
really.
have.
Sasha got on deck only for an
Yeah.
hour.
What did you make, bro? Because me, I don't think I've
Okay,
made
guys.
any.
No, because I think I have a good story to tell to people to like for people to avoid doing this. So basically, yeah. So I grew up in a household that really did not teach me about credit. Nobody ever had a credit card. I think I was the first person to have a credit card in my family. Um, that was not a thing. Like even getting a credit card, I got a credit card when I started working at the bank, and I was 21. And before that, like I didn't even think that I was like, oh, only rich people get credit cards because that's like not a poor people thing. Like that was the mentality I had because I just didn't think I would ever qualify for one. Um, and I guess like I didn't even know how credit scores worked. Like I didn't understand the concept of it whatsoever. Like I did not even know it was a thing. And when I did find out kind of how it worked, I was like, why the hell did I not know about this? And anyways, I think I was like 19 and I signed up for a gym. Okay. And this gym was horrible and they were like really rude and a bunch of horrible things happened and stuff. So I was trying to cancel it and they're like, no, you can't cancel this gym. So I was like, I remember telling my mom and she was like, oh, just change your bank account so that they can't take money from your account anymore. And I was like, bet. I go to the bank, I tell them like, oh, this gym, they keep taking money from my account. Like, how do I make them stop? They're like, oh, just change your account number. So they changed me to another bank account. Then I get a letter in the mail saying, oh, you have you have like a collections claim, whatever, on your credit file. Actually, I didn't even know about it until I started learning about credit. And then I finally understood that like credit was a thing and that you can go get reports. I read like the Equifax website. I understood everything, well, somewhat. And then I requested a file and I see like the name of the gym that brought me to collections. And I was like, what the fuck? So like I didn't even know that they could do that. Number one, it says it in the fine print on your contracts when you sign up for gyms. But a lot of people don't know this because I remember when people would call when we worked at the bank,
Yeah.
I remember they would call the bank and they would be like, oh, can you just change my credit card? And I'm like, well, if you signed a contract they can still bring you to collections. You need to deal with it with them. And a lot of people don't know this. So that causes a lot of people to go to collections. This affects your credit score. And I mean, obviously my credit score is much better than it was back then. I was able to get a credit card, like I was able to get my car, and those things helped me like build up my score a bit. But that's like something that I made this mistake not really knowing that it would actually affect my life. And it's such a small thing. It's like, it's just a stupid gym, you know? And you would never think that like a gym can affect your life that much, because it's, I don't know, like I just never thought that that would happen. I never thought that that was possible. I didn't know anything about credit whatsoever, but I think a lot of people still don't know this. So I think that's a really good like thing to share, because it can hopefully help people avoid that mistake.
Yeah, facts.
100%. And I think that's a good story, because I think it's probably the most relatable thing. How many people we have, especially BuzzFit, any Equal Fitness, any of these $10 gyms.
Yeah, all of them can bring you to collections.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know, so
you think $10 a month is nothing, but for them, they're gonna get you with their claim. They're gonna hit you with a collections claim.
You know, so I think that
and
especially, go Sasha.
No, just it can be the same with like if you finance a mattress, a camera, like anything that you finance, that you sign a contract with that company, they can bring you to collections. And a lot of people are unaware. They think, oh, I'm going to finesse the system and like just cancel my credit card. But it's like, that's just unfortunately not how it works.
Yeah, I'll say this. It's like, think of great like child support, you know? Like some way, somehow they gotta find you, they gotta get to the courts, and they gotta try to get that money. Yeah. If you think of it like that, it's like you trying to deal with the most normal situation so you don't end up being in collections. You know, like if you know you can't afford it, or if you know you're gonna be like, oh, I'm going to dispute it, don't put yourself in those type of situations. And I guess it's an immigrant thing. Don't put things on your name for other people. Some of you says, yo, put your car in my name, or put your phone bill in my name, and then I'll give you the money.
Oh, I'm guilty of that too.
Don't do them things. Yeah. Because a lot of people
don't do that.
They'll say I have the money, and then 6 months later they don't have any money. Then it's on your name, and then you have to pay it off yourself to keep your credit score.
Yeah. Even if it's your family, like anyone that's asking you, even if it's your family, like you need to make sure that your situation doesn't end up fucked up because of them. So definitely be careful with that.
I think because we're so in a society where it's so easy to say yes, and I think that like once you think long term of like, okay, well, is this something that's very pragmatic? Most of the times it's actually no. So I think that asking the proper question, then it sucks to say no to your family. But I'll say this: a lot of people you say yes to won't pay your bills if you're broke. Well,
that's true.
Like if you break it down like that and you count the people and you say, is this person gonna help me if I'm on the street? If the answer is no, you don't have to deal with them like that.
It's true. Like if you're going out of your way to help them to put your future, I guess, at risk, you have to understand. You have to make sure that they're willing to do the same for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your friends aren't gonna pay your bills for you.
Facts. You know, and like respectfully, shout out to my friends, but a lot of strangers support you more than your friends.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but that's easy. Yeah, that's well known.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're telling me a like it's too hard to ask. If I need a $500, you gotta say like, go get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know, so you have a better chance going get a GoFundMe to pay your bills.
Literally, I was gonna say GoFundMes. Like GoFundMes are the proof that strangers are more willing to help strangers. But
it's so true. Because I always see GoFundMes like popping off.
Yeah. I know this girl was able to get like a high-end barbecue for her dad by GoFundMe for like Father's Day.
No way, for what? Like what was
Father's
the reason?
Day.
Oh, just
because he needs to get a new barbecue. People felt bad.
Oh, he didn't have like cancer or something, like some crazy.
Nah. They a lot of them put sauce though. A lot of them put sauce, and then you find out that shit's fake.
I'm dead.
No, but you know what I see a lot of recently is like people on Twitter, like they make fake profiles. They put like a picture of a mom with kids. Then I get DMs all the fucking time. I get DMs all the time saying, "Hi, please, I need to feed my children. Can you cash out me?"
Yo, literally, what the fuck?
That's a good scam.
All the time. Hi, please, please send me money. I need to feed my kids. And I'm like, this is a crazy scam.
But even GoFundMe, this girl did a GoFundMe. She's like, oh, I need money to feed my kids. It wasn't even her kids. It was her nieces and nephew. And she got like, I think 3K or like 60K.
Wow.
Let's
on
go.
GoFundMe.
What the hell?
You know? But
That's a new side hustle, guys.
I'm
Yeah,
telling
start a
you,
GoFundMe. If you can make
Side
it pop
hustles under
somehow.
$500.
Yeah, bro.
for any
Literally.
sponsors, we do not support this message. But I know we talked about like the credit mistakes, but is there anything that you guys like a purchase you guys regret because you guys got like a raise in salary or you guys made a lot of money? Is there like one purchase you regret like shit, why did I buy this?
That's a good question. I'm trying
Mm,
to think. I mean, obviously, like a lot of clothes that I bought and shoes that I bought when I was a bit younger. Like, guys,
yeah.
I say this every day. I've been working since I'm 16. What the hell? Where's the money at?
Yeah.
Like, where's the money from when I was 16? Like, what did I spend it on? That's what I don't get. And yeah, so I don't think there's one single like large purchase, but I think it's just like a lot of food, a lot of clothes, a lot of things that don't mean anything, that disappear, that I don't have anymore. And it's like when you
Yeah.
look back at it like that, it's like, where did all of that money go?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think food, clothes, but I think like spending money at a club for you to feel like trash or like shit the next day.
Oh, no,
Mm,
no, no, no,
I
no. I
till this
hate.
day, till this
Mm-mm.
day, I'm trying to realize like legit I probably spent like 10K at a club. Like if you add
No,
up all the years, I'm
that's
like,
disgusting.
wow.
10K,
That's
Like
bro. What the
disgusting.
fuck?
easily,
No,
easily.
no, no, no.
Yo,
Me
because if
impossible.
you
Like I was never that reckless, but I did
yo,
have
girls don't
like
spend
a
money at
good
the club.
year of that.
Uh,
Girls don't spend money at the
sure.
club. I know girls who go to
Oh,
a club, they
you're
have no
right.
wallets. They bring that ID, they got no wallet. Asking for 1942. Get the fuck out of here. But you know, like I think that like once you realize like how much money you spend on like spilled liquor, you're just like, yo, what the fuck is going on? I think that's like,
Yeah, no, no. Clubs are ridiculous, guys. Like clubs are the biggest scam.
yeah,
Like you can go to Chris. What was the alcohol? The vodka that you were talking about? Was it Smirnoff? No, it was the other one.
no Smirnoff, yo, at 250 at the club.
Yeah, guys, Smirnoff's like $20 at the
Oh,
SAQ.
Grey
Like,
Goose. Are you talking about Grey Goose?
Grey Goose. Yeah, Grey Goose is like
Ah,
$40. No, I don't remember. I don't know what the prices are now with
no,
inflation. I
no,
haven't like I don't buy alcohol
Grey
anymore.
Goose is
But
like 60.
okay, but still, it's $60 at SAQ and it's $200 at the club. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever
And
realized
it
that
like is
there's no clubs next to SAQs or there's no SAQs next to clubs? Because that would put their whole model out of business.
that's so true.
An SAQ
But
next
guys,
to a
like,
club would put the
is
whole
it
thing out
really
of
worth
business.
it? Like, is looking cool and having a bottle girl bring you a bottle really worth $250?
I'll say this, especially like we've been in that like Snapchat
No,
culture.
the answer is no,
No, no,
Charl.
no, no. I'll say this. Remember Snapchat when like the girls used to run to your section with a little camera and
With
they
the
used to like they used
sparklers.
to like and they used to try to get it for the bottles. I'll say this, you know?
Yeah, they have the sparklers that are like
Yeah.
lit.
And then afterwards, like people used to come to your section to try to
Yeah,
put out
everyone
snap.
would come to your section, bro.
You know, that was like Hall of Fame for a couple of guys. You know, like I've been guilty of that. I'll say this. A lot of guys, yo, hold on. There's a stat that says I think it's like 40% or 30% of men over 30 never had sex. You know?
What?
So,
Wait, what?
yeah. 30%,
30%.
30%, yeah. 30% to 40% of men over 30 have yet to have sex.
That's wild.
Let me Google it just to make sure I'm not
No,
talking
there was
shit.
an article that just came out apparently. Like my friend was just telling me today, there's an article that came out that said like this year that we reached like new levels of men being extra lonely and like extra not having relationships.
Damn, with the
Apparently.
pandemic.
So yeah, probably with the pandemic. I don't know, but they said they just released like some big person, I don't know who, they launched like a study that they did.
Yeah,
And it
so
was exactly what you're saying.
so yes, in the US, one out of 3 men in the US has reported not to have sex over 30. So then
Wow.
33% essentially. So
That's crazy.
if you put essentially, if you had like another person, one of 3, well, respectfully, the other person won't have sex, you know? Like that's how frequent that thing is, you know? So if you put that in consideration, a lot of guys are gonna say, if I have to spend $1,000 at a club to have sex, a lot of people will say yes. And I think that that's what fucks up
That's
a lot of
really
people.
sad.
Like,
But
'cause
imagine
that
spending
36
$1,000 at a club and you still don't get it, bro.
I know.
That is true.
Which is what happens most likely, because if you need to rely on
Yo,
buying drinks for girls,
But
then
it's true because if you get a lot of attention, if you get a lot of like female attention from doing that, obviously that's going to be something that men feel that they need to do.
yeah, of course, it's like
yeah,
you need to
So
do it
that's really
to get that.
that's
Yeah.
really sad because like me, I'm
100%.
like that's crazy. But I guess from a guy's perspective, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, but I'll say this, and I know it's not a topic for it, but I won't say being a girl is not easy, but like being a girl, you get approached by everybody. You know, like I
Yeah,
remember in the
that's true.
club, they used to say last call. It used to be 2:45 in the morning, but the girl who's a 4 on 10 will get approached. Like guys are just like,
Oh yeah,
respect.
at the end of the night, everyone's just trying to get whoever's
They're
left.
scrambling. Yeah, they're
Yo,
scrambling
you
for
get
anyone.
you get the scraps. I mean, if you spend money at the club, you're trying to get the scraps. So you could be
That's
the
so
ugliest
sad.
chick in the line, and you're still gonna get approached by somebody. But
All
if you're a
girls
dude,
matter.
yeah, 100% respectfully. But if you're a guy and you're just average looking, you make average money, and you are not the a guy, it's hard for you to be approached by ladies or try to get female attention. So I think that's that has something that has to be addressed. But I think that's why a lot of guys feel the need to spend extra money.
Yeah, they have to. They feel
Yeah.
they need to. Yeah, that's crazy. I never thought about that. Thought about it like that because I've never bought a bottle at a club ever in my entire life. I would never do that. That's some crazy shit.
Yeah, girls don't do that. It's
Girls never buy
rare.
bottles.
I've never seen a group of girls
at a club. Thank you.
buy a
Never.
bottle.
Never.
Maybe
I remember.
once.
But like, why would we do that? Why would
But
we
you know,
do that?
you know what's the worst part? Respectfully, I'm gonna try to be respectful, keep you PG-13. But I used to be that dude that used to grab a bottle, but girls used to line up and like have their mouth opened,
Oh yeah,
and like you know, but it wasn't that bottle. And like one time, I'm like, yo, if I spend like $250, I have to like do a calculation in my head. I'm like, you get this much, you get this much, and then like once you
little
break
drop.
it down, yeah,
$5.
you get
$5.
you get
$5.
you get one drop. But once you calculate how much money you spend on unnecessary things,
Guys,
and
that
it's
one
like,
drop is $5. That's
yo,
crazy.
there's girls I know, and I went to a club with that. They came with no wallet. They left the club drunk.
Yeah.
You know, like if you calculate that, it's like you drank for like $500 of like alcohol. But I think that's what keeps a lot of guys broke, because it's like, or a lot of people broke.
Okay, the
like,
moral of the story: don't go clubbing. Just don't go to the club.
oh, just
If you guys want to, if you want to meet
leave your
girls,
wallet
go to
and
the
your
gym or
phone
go
at
to the
home.
library. Like,
Oh, I think that's a good tip. Leave your phone and wallet at home, and then
As a
you
guy?
literally can't spend anything. Yeah.
yeah, but then he's
Yeah,
just gonna
but-
sit there in the corner by himself.
that's all,
No, but,
and
that,
you
but
look,
that's good. Then you're forced to talk to people because you see a lot of guys on their phones all the time.
True.
I used to
You're
sometimes
right.
like when you have
Chris,
to hide
I-
away and you have to go on your phone and
you know,
stuff.
most guys are antisocial, respectfully.
But that's what I'm saying.
And like,
so if,
no,
if
but
you don't have
even
a phone,
even if they don't bring a phone, I think they're even more antisocial. Because it's like, I
Yeah,
think
then
I
you
think
have
They
no
feel more
escape.
awkward.
you don't know
yeah,
what to
because
do.
Yeah.
Because I
Shit.
think what we are, especially like with a pandemic, I think a lot of people under 30 or under 35 is like, we're such in a society where we want to have experiences earlier on. Like our parents wait to like 50, 45 to have like the experiences. We're like, yo, we have a bit of money, let's do it
Yeah.
all right now. And you have
Yeah.
people in their 20s going take honeymoon trips.
Yeah, it's because we
I-
see like what's possible for some
yeah,
15-year-olds. So we're
there you
all like,
go.
yes, we want it right now.
You know, especially I think with like YouTube being so accessible, you see a lot of people going
Yeah.
high end vacations. You're like, I want it right now.
Yeah, you want to know.
But-
as
Yeah.
soon
And
as
then you
can afford it.
overspend. Exactly. So I think that a lot of people are like, okay, well, I want this lifestyle. I make this. What can I do to like fill in the gap to be as close as possible to this lifestyle? And I think that's what
Yeah.
like the situation to the club, etc. is like people are gonna go to Vegas, but you don't have money to spend money at Vegas, but you're gonna do whatever you can to have that experience. But it's not like a long lasting effect on you. It's probably like Sasha said, 30 seconds, and then the experience is over. You know? So
Just don't go to the club, guys. Stay home. It's not worth it. That's the moral of the story, in my opinion.
get your money up. If you're gonna do it, get your money up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
And
you gotta
there's
get money
other
up
ways
first.
to meet people. I think that other ways to meet people are very underrated. Like you can meet people at the gym, at the library. Like there's so many ways to meet people that are not at the club where you have to spend 1K for a booth. Like you can meet people in so many
Yeah,
other
but you're
ways that are
talking from a girl's point of view.
There-
like,
there
a lot
you
of
go.
guys can't talk to girls at the gym.
Yeah.
Like you
Sasha,
can't.
you know
talk to
girls
them
have
when
that earphones, that big beats. listening to no music.
Actually,
they
you know
don't
what? I
wanna get
hate when people
approached.
talk to me at the gym. Like, I
There you
fucking
go.
hate when
Well,
people
that's the
talk to me at
thing,
the gym.
right?
There you go.
So that's true.
Library to, because at the end of the day, I think that like when you're a guy, there's only a few opportunities where you're able to talk to girls. See, at a restaurant, at a lounge, or at a club,
Restaurant.
and they
No,
all.
you can go just go
Oh,
get a job and
let
meet
me
people at your workplace.
let me give this this tip to people. Well, I hope my anyways, if you go to a restaurant and you see a group of ladies at a table, send over shots or like a
Well,
drink.
you're still buying them shit, bro.
It's not
Yeah,
gonna
but
cost
then
you
you're
$200.
wasting your guys. Don't listen
It's
to
not
Charl. Don't
$200.
listen to Charl.
Yeah, I disagree. Don't
It's
buy
not
them shit.
$200. It's not.
Don't waste your money, guys. Guys, stay home, work on yourself, and you'll like a queen will come your way if you work on yourself.
Guys, if you feel the need to spend money to get a girl, then you fucked up already, bruv. Like it's.
I think you should focus on just hitting the gym, eating well, improving your life, getting your money up, and I think that naturally you'll find somebody.
I agree with you.
Yeah, work on yourself.
A lot of people. I'll say this.
Don't go to the club.
No, I'll say this.
No,
but
we're
a lot
not
of
being
people,
realistic.
a lot of people are just average. Okay, not everybody's gonna be like, I want to be a part of the 5 a.m. club. I want to go to the gym. I want to work out. I want to get my money up. A lot of people say, if I could find somebody average, I will sell for this, and then that's it. And realistically speaking, I think a lot of people are trying to overachieve without the work ethic to be where they want to be. You know, like for me, it's like there's no girl that can say this respectfully. We're gonna be straight honest. There's no girl that can tell me money does not matter for men, because if you're not able to, I guess it's in a politically nice way. If you're not able to spend money for the important things in life, I'm not saying you gotta pay all the bills, but let's say for you don't want to be the cheap guy. You don't want to be the guy that says we can't do this because we don't have the money. We have to stack up. You want to have that balance between the two. Find that balance is a whole different conversation. But if you're building towards yourself and you're in a relationship, you don't want to say, I'm not spending no money on you because I have to save for the future. You want to kind of have a balance between the two. But I think that a lot of people don't have the patience to say, I'm going to wait that long. So what are ways for people to be able to mingle with people without having to spend like a dime and put on their credit cards, etc.?
I think online.
You're asking us?
Yeah,
yeah. And IG,
you have to go Tinder.
Twitter's the new Tinder. Twitter is the new Tinder.
Twitter.
I know, no. Actually, you know what? It's LinkedIn. It's LinkedIn. Apparently, LinkedIn is the new Twitter.
Do not,
Tinder.
No.
So
I know that. Do not get a HR case on your ass. Please do not get HR.
I agree, but from my sources, I don't use LinkedIn like that, so it's not coming from me. But from my sources, they've told me that LinkedIn is the new Tinder.
Yeah, I'll say this because you're able to see people's
all
job
the guys. That's where the guys are going now. They're
job
like their
description.
You see the job.
You see the salary right away.
No, you see the job. You Google the salary.
That's
and
it.
Then that's how,
and because you can relate to because you can relate to them easier. Because you can be like, oh, cool, I work at the same place as you, or like, oh, cool, I work next door to you. So it's a really good way to like get yourself in. That's what a lot of guys are doing right now. That's what I've heard from all the girls. That's what they've been telling me.
Okay, well, how about this? Guys, go to Catcart or go to a cassette with like-minded people, and then you just
go to
bond over
what's it called?
Which one?
What's it called in English? A happy hour. Happy hour.
Yeah,
it's called happy hour in English.
Yeah, happy hour.
Cassette is happy hour.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think it's called happy hour in English. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that just getting involved with that, because I think, especially with inflation hitting these drinks, bro. When we went out, I don't even know how much I spent on that little sit down.
Yo, Sasha, your one little drink
Red Bull
was like
guys,
$20.
Red Bull. I buy it for $3 at Pharmaprix, right? It was like $15 for 2 Red Bulls.
Oh my god!
Yeah, or like $16 with tax.
I think I paid $25.
Like
yeah, I paid $25 for a rum and coke.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how much you paid. Like, didn't you pay $20?
What the hell?
For rum and coke?
Yeah. My girl was.
And it's like this half cup. It's like a cup like
she took like a little. It cost me like $48, and I like to tip, so I gave 20%. So it cost me like $50.
Me and Chris went to Costco and we saw a big case of Red Bull that was like $30 for like a bunch of bottles. And Chris was like calculating. He's like, how much? How much could we make if we sold this for like $5 each?
It was 24.
So you got a Costco card?
Yeah,
I got a Costco card.
Yeah. So do you put gas?
Second time going to Costco. I haven't pumped gas yet because I haven't needed to. So I got the card literally like 3 days ago.
Well, first off,
But coming soon.
shout
Coming
to you.
soon.
It's a vibe. Makes you feel grown. I promise you that.
It is a
I
fucking
really do
vibe.
feel grown. It was my second time going to Costco, and we spent like 2 hours in Costco going back and forth. I couldn't find anything, but it was amazing.
Yeah. Shout out to free food.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, they had free samples. I was like, this is the cutest thing ever.
Yo, but first off, I'll say this. For people who want to save money, I know Costco has a membership fee. Totally worth it.
Oh, it's
Totally worth it.
100% worth it.
I'll say that.
Especially if it's tax deductible.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of people, if you're able to have that, and especially if you're able to have multiple members of your family pitch in for the Costco card, I think it's a great investment, especially if you're able to get some cash back. I know they have a credit card, so hey, there's
You know what we
opportunities there
saw? You know what we saw? Me and Christy, like a couple of days ago, or like a couple of weeks ago, we bought like ground beef, right? I think we paid like almost $10 for like a small pack of ground beef. That's like the typical prices that you pay for at the grocery stores. We saw this like jam-packed, bulked container for $9.99 at Costco. I was like, that can make meal preps for like 3 weeks. And it was $10. I was like, this is going to be a game changer
Oh, yeah,
for me.
wait. Sasha, the medication that you're buying for your mom, so it was
Oh
like
my god. Yes, we need to talk about this.
No, just
Guys,
because there's people who say like resellers, oh, they're all you're scamming people, you're scamming people. Bro, any pharmacy that you go to, you're getting scammed, bro.
Scam
yeah, there's a markup. There's a markup.
You know, the owners of Pharmaprix, they own also Provigo, Maxi. They're evil people. Apparently, they've done evil things for money.
No, but this is exactly what people are saying. Like, oh, you're evil.
Oh,
well, fuck you, bro.
No, I know,
like,
but it's like me doing something small is not going to be that impactful, and like, you know. And whereas Pharmaprix, they're already rich. These people are so incredibly rich.
That's what I'm saying. People go for the small people. Like, go for the big people, bro. What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just trying to get my family out of the hood. Like, leave me alone.
I think people don't understand how the pharmaceutical business works, because this capsule, let's say Tylenol, costs you 70 cents. Okay, but if you actually do the markup, it's actually gonna cost you like $1.25. So that spreads is essentially what they give, and they give the sales rep money, they'll give the doctor money, and they'll give the pharmaceutical, the company, whoever owns the pharmacy, money as well. So everybody makes money on you being sick. So once you understand that premise, is like,
yeah, it's over.
What's the best way for you to be able to buy at the cheapest cost? Because it's all generic. It's all generic. Drugs. It's just the branding of it is different.
No, but you wouldn't believe it. Like, you wouldn't believe it. We buy it from one store for like around $30, and it's 60 capsules. It's 120 capsules at Costco for $30.
Yeah.
And at Pharmaprix, guess what? It's $45 for the 60 capsules. Yeah, so Pharmaprix, they're crazy. Those motherfuckers are crazy.
Yeah, because
if you ever bought anything in your life, you bought it at a markup. So you can't ever be like, bro, the people that are saying like, it's all capitalist. Like, fuck you, bro.
At the end of the day, even Walmart has markup. By the end of the day, it's just that they go to the distributors to say, bring down your price as low as possible. It's just that we buy retail and we can't do that, unfortunately. But that's the game. That's the name of the game. And if you go compare Costco stock price over the last 24 months, you're gonna see it peaking, because as more people realize what Sasha is doing, and you could have more for your buck by shopping at Walmart, we'll say Target in the US, Costco, etc., than going to 5 different grocery stores, spending the same amount for less. Once you realize that, it's just a question of, okay, what are my essentials or what are my basic needs? And it's like, I remember back in the day, well, they still have it. You could still buy your Nike joggers there. You could still buy a lot of these brand things that you could buy. Get your glasses. A lot of these things that we spend, or we could say high ticket items, you could get them at a big discount at Costco. I think shopping smart and shopping for your needs is gonna allow people to save a lot of money going forward.
Yeah, shout out to Costco. Like, you save money on gas, save money on food, like toilet paper, all that stuff. And also the fact that I can use it for business is also a big plus. I was like, it's literally a no-brainer to finally do this.
No, if you calculate, let's say 120 and then like 180 if you bougie for the gold star, And for the amount of money you save and the amount of money you can save on gas,
And
especially
you get
for gas.
2%. Don't you get like 2% cash back or something with all your purchases when you
You
have the
have
business card?
yeah, yeah,
I got the one that gives you 2% cash back. So it's like,
yeah.
I think if you calculate it, I was reading a blog and they're like, if you spend this amount per
Yeah,
like
you'll have it
annually,
paid off.
it
Yeah.
pays the credit
Yeah, it
card.
pays off the cards. Yeah.
And
You
like
have it for
obviously
free.
I'm gonna spend that much in gas, food, groceries, the medication for my mom, all the stuff that we buy. Like,
Yeah, no brainer. You know, and I think
Inventory.
that I think that we're such a culture where we overconsume. And I think like
oh, for sure.
once you break down what you actually need, and like Sasha just said, basically gas, food, medication, and basic clothes. But I think like once you break down how much we actually spend on useless things, that's when you realize how broke we are. But if you were just to spend on your basic needs, and like during the pandemic, I didn't buy any clothes. I bought like one pair of shoes, and now like I'm just like with work and everything, I have to like buy professional clothes and things like that. But I was like for a 2 year period, I wasn't buying clothes, but I realized like yo,
Me too. I really didn't buy anything. Guys,
yeah,
George brand from Walmart, they have the best like hoodies,
Oh, I'm wearing
sweatpants,
George
all of
brand
that.
right now. Yo, yeah, Walmart clothes.
Shout out
shout
to George brand for reals.
Let's go.
you know, like I was fortunate enough. Well, not fortunate enough, but I bought a lot of high ticket items when I was like money conscious. You know, so a lot of these things still fit for me right now. So thank God for that.
You
But
have
I
all the
think
swag stacked up
yeah,
already.
yeah. Facts. 5 years later, shout out. I'll just say this. I'll make an argument for buying high expensive things because there's two things. Either if you're gonna go buy from your Zara or your H&M, buy on sale. You know,
Yeah.
like for me, I'll tell people I shop in advance. So when it's winter time, most of the swim trunks, bikinis, all the summer things go on sale. That's when I buy. And then
Yeah.
when it's summer, I start buying my winter things, and then I just cycle like that because a lot of these clothes right now, you guys see, all these stores are gonna have 60% off.
Everything is on
40%
sale
off.
right now. Yeah,
There you
it's
go.
already right now. Yeah,
So I'm
it's
shopping
end of
already
season right
for
now.
I'm shopping for next summer. And if you have style,
Yeah.
your clothes never go out of style.
Yeah.
That's the bar.
Also, when you buy
Facts.
clothes, like do it long term. Just ask yourself, how long is this actually gonna last? Is
Yeah,
it
buy
just a
like if you
trend?
buy black and white clothes
Yeah,
and like neutral colors.
buy timeless clothes, like clothes that you know for
Yeah.
like that you'll wear for a very long time. Because then it's
Yeah,
worth it.
because I tell people like I kind of calculate like at stocks like if you buy this hoodie, it costs you $100. How many times can you wear this hoodie while it's like fading, damaging it, etc., etc.? If you're telling me, okay, the shirt cost me $400, but I have the shirt for 5 years, that's a good purchase. If I know the material, the quality is good, and it's gonna last me 5 years, that's a good expense. But if you're telling me
You know
I
what
have
I
to
got
buy,
that was worth it, like a Canada Goose. I bought my goose and I've had it for like
there you
I think
go.
it's my it's gonna be my 4th year. And like whereas before I used to buy like $300 jackets every year.
Yeah, you see, and that's shout out. I'm getting kind of gooses for this winter, but
It's good.
things,
It's good. It's worth
yeah,
it.
things like that is like once you break it down per year, you save money because especially like for
Yeah.
me, like in high school, things like that, college, you know, we all broke. I used to buy H&M shirts, but it used to last me legit one semester, and then the whole will start coming in, etc. Then you have to buy it. But essentially, when you
Yeah.
add it up, it costs you essentially $100 to replace all those shirts. Right? But one shirt that cost me $100,
Yeah, that
didn't
would
have to
last you
waste time.
forever. Yeah.
There you go. I think that's how people have to start calculating. And like one of my tricks is that if something isn't flying off the shelves, what I do is that I'll put something away, like I'll save it on Instagram, I'll save it on my basket. I'll wait 7 days. If after 7 days I still like the shirt at the same weight, whatever the shoes, I'll buy it. If not, it was just like I
That's
had to
really
spend.
smart because yeah, and sometimes you forget about it. You're like if you leave it in your cart and you don't remember about this item, and then a month later you're like, oh, I never bought that thing. It's like that means you don't care. Like you don't actually need it.
Yeah.
It's the same for tattoos. Like that's why I have no tattoos on me. It's because I would do that every time. Every time I was considering getting a tattoo, I was like, wait a bit, and then I never ended
I
up
don't think
getting
I'm ever
anything.
gonna get a tattoo. I don't understand
Same.
tattoos. No offense to anyone, but like that's just a waste of money. You're like I just don't get it.
Yeah, I'm never gonna
Almost,
say
you know,
never,
almost
but
everyone I know who's gotten a tattoo has regretted it. Almost, I think like the close people around me, everyone like who have gotten tattoos, most of them have said like at least one of their tattoos or something about their tattoo that they regretted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's permanently on my body. That costs money. That's painful. Why the hell would I do that?
Because like Chris said, like especially for a tattoo, like if I get one, I only get one is only to make homage to like something that like there's two tattoos actually. I get
something that means to you.
In Italy, in Italian they have like I came, I saw, I conquer. In like Italian,
yeah,
like I want to put I came, I saw, yeah. and like leave the conquer empty until like I feel like I did everything I was supposed to, and then I
Damn,
would
that's
like
cute.
cut it in. And then the other one is like for me, if it wasn't for Nipsey Hussle, I know Sasha also like gained a lot of inspiration from him. If it wasn't for him, I
Oh
wouldn't.
my God.
In terms of like what I know from real estate and like business, a lot of him came. If you listen to the Nipsey Hussle lyrics carefully, without any like
Yeah.
melody in the background, he gave the whole blueprint for how to build generational wealth. And also, once
It's
you apply,
literally true.
when you apply those things in real life, then you realize how quickly certain things are applied. But I would get like the marathon continue on my leg. Those are the two things that I'm like, yo, those things. I'm like, if I do that, cool, but I don't want to be
That
that
would be
parent that did
sick. Like I
something.
would approve of that tattoo. That would be like the one
Yeah,
tattoo that I approve of.
but two things. I don't want to be that parent that does something and then tells like kids don't do it. It's like I wouldn't want my kids to have tattoos,
Yeah.
and so I want to lead by example. So if I don't get it, at least my kids can't say like, "Oh shit, what are you telling me this?" But you have
Yeah.
one. So that's the only
Yeah,
thing I'm
facts.
debating right now. But we'll see how that goes.
And I'm afraid, like, if
Yeah.
you get one, you might want a bunch more. and
Yeah,
then
you're
it's like-
gonna. Yeah, it's true. It's true. You start adding on, like you start feeling like you need to add on, and then like there's an empty spot. You're like, oh shit, I need to add
Yeah,
another
because
one, then
one on
another one,
its
then
own
another one. Oh,
is strange. So you'd be like, yeah, trying to put on as many as
Well,
possible.
you see,
yeah. I
and
don't think I'm ever gonna do it. Ugh.
what do you guys think? Do you think we passed a culture where tattoos are acceptable? Because for me,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
I think so.
especially being like a 9 to 5, I think that people get strategic tattoos in places that highly
Yeah, they don't
accept.
show on your hands and like your neck and your
There
face.
you go. There
Yeah.
you go. Like if you're, let's say for example, you're a lawyer wearing suits all day, you won't have any neck tattoos. But I don't think we got to a point where, like, if my lawyer came up to my face with a bunch of face tats, looking like 6'9", you know, like I don't know, I don't know if you reach that point where you're like, I'm comfortable with like you just putting tattoos everywhere. But I don't know if it's just me like that's like that, or you guys like agree?
Well, it's just like unfortunately we're not gonna take them seriously. Do you take 6ix9ine seriously when you look at him? No.
Facts.
Who does? No one does because he looks crazy and like that's just unfortunately the society we grew. Well, maybe not unfortunately, but that's just the way we grew up. Is like that's
Yeah.
something that is not as accepted. So like we don't take it as seriously.
Yeah, because imagine a doctor coming up with like a
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you'd be like, where is this guy from? Like, why does he
You
have
know?
neck tats?
But you can't even
thug
imagine it
life.
because it's so strict in those types of fields where it's like you probably won't even get a job if you have a
Yeah.
showing tattoo. That
Yeah.
we can't even imagine it because it's not even gonna happen. Where
I think it's a lot more accepted, but like it's so rooted in us that like it's unprofessional to have tattoos.
Yeah,
it's
with
so
corporate
deeply rooted in
people,
our
it's
society
like-
that
yeah,
it would
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
it would take years for this to become more acceptable. You know,
unless
Like,
you
I
have your
see-
own business. If you have your own business and like you don't give a
Yeah.
fuck, then
Yeah.
that's fine. But
like being in a
rappers, they have
corporate
their own businesses. They're
environment.
the only ones
Yeah.
that can have it. You know.
yeah,
100%,
musicians,
but
celebrities.
I'll say two things. You know, I think that we have gone a long way because now I think arm tattoos, sleeves, etc., are more acceptable in the workforce. But I'll say something too. I know like we bring up like if you're not in the arts, if you're not a chef, if you're not a thing like that, you don't have to conform to like corporate like financing. But I think
Yeah.
even the moment that let's say for example you want to get a loan, you still gotta dress up in a suit and look professional.
But what if you decide like in 10, let's just say you're a chef and you're like, okay, cool, I can do whatever I want. 10 years later, you're like, you know what? I want to go into the corporate world. You're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's way too much of a commitment, like in my opinion, to spend money to be in pain, to have something that permanent. That's too scary. I can never do that.
You know, I'm telling you, some people treat having tattoos the same way they treat having kids. You know, some people are just like, I'll do it and not thinking about the consequences. And some people like, oh, it's a permanent decision. And if you think about it like that,
Just don't spend your money, guys. Like, don't spend your money on useless shit. Just stop.
yeah.
That's
But
the
last
moral of the
topic,
story.
if you could give 5 people like advice on like how could they like maximize not spending as much as they do, what are some tricks? Because I know like we all have gone like doormat these last few years and not trying to spend money, but for me it was like imposed on me and I never went back. But for some it was like not hot girl summer, but summer's over. I'm trying to stay inside. I'm trying to stack up for the next 9 months. What are some tips that we could give people so that they can actually put pen to paper and like try to have a goal in mind?
To not spend,
Yeah, or not to
Yeah.
overspend.
not overspend.
Well, the first thing I can think of that like something that has helped me is like to surround yourself with people who have the same goals as you, because like when I was going clubbing and stuff, obviously everyone was just like splashing their money, whereas like if you're actually surrounding yourself with people who value their future and they want their money to be handled and everything, they're not going to be encouraging you to be impulsive. They're going to be like, okay, no, we're going to go hang out, do a free activity, and we're not going to be like you know those type of people that can't hang out unless they're like
Yeah.
spending money. Like I can't be around people like that. And I'm always like my types of chillings have to be things that where like we're doing something productive and it doesn't cost too much money. That's what I like. And if you're not doing that, I can't hang out with you, unfortunately. So you have to surround yourself with people that are like-minded and that want a good future and that have the same goals of you in terms of spending.
Yeah.
I think that's a big one.
I agree with you. I think if you're gonna spend money to hang out with people, make sure you have a return on your investment. And I tell people,
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
like for me, like I love to eat. I love to eat, yes, but I love going to restaurants. I like the whole restaurant ambiance. But now these past few months, I've been only going to restaurants with people I know I can make business with, or that have like minds
Yeah.
as well. If we're able to communicate and build a relationship, I'll spend whatever amount. It doesn't matter. I'll spend $500 if I have to. But because I know I'm out something out of it, and it sucks, that has to be like that. But certain people you talk, and like we're just having a useless conversation, I can't spend money with you. I'm sorry. Like I'm gonna be like that, but if you do not give me a plus positive in my life, I can't spend money with you. So
yeah, there's no point. It's not worth
and
it.
I'll even say there's a lot. If you go on Eventbrite and you just write free events, there's a lot of free things happening in the city that people don't know about. So I think just getting informed with like activity that could be done for like cheap $10, $20, I think is still a good way to keep an active life without spending a lot of money as well.
Charl, but just quickly, because Charl, the thing about spending $500, it reminded me. You've ever seen the question where it's like, would you rather take a meeting with Jay-Z or get $500,000?
Yeah, I'm the only one that says meeting with Jay-Z. And my rebuttal to this is because I was proven wrong. I'm like, yo, Jay-Z can show me how to make a bill. But somebody said, yo, Jay-Z just gonna eat his meal.
Yeah, that's
Jay-Z just gonna eat his bill and that's it.
He doesn't even want to talk about business.
Yeah, he's gonna ignore you. Like, who are you to talk to Jay-Z? Like, who are you for Jay-Z to give you the time of day?
Jay-Z not gonna give me the blueprint. But if somebody put a
but let's say he gives you let's say it's 500,000 or he gives
Jay-Z,
you the blueprint.
All day.
That's crazy.
I'll say this. Name me somebody who was close to Jay-Z that they become highly successful. Kanye West became a billionaire.
That's true.
But
Rihanna became a billionaire.
Yes. But
Kevin Hart just opened a restaurant. Just did an interview with Jay-Z.
But I think it's their work ethic that got and the mix of
not
them,
even that.
You know,
it's not like with this. It's the one sit down. It's not like you become friends with him.
Yo, nobody said how long the sit down was for, bro. If I have 3 hours with Jay-Z, bro.
Nah, that's not good enough. Give me 500K.
Because look, I'll say this, and especially because of work, I realized that in real estate and things like, you don't need money. You just need knowledge. Like there's so much money out there that I could find 6 people right now to give me that money. As long as I have a good idea, they'll finance me the deal. But having the information to be able to execute that people take you seriously, I think that's what people miss out on. I don't think we know a lot of people that say, okay, guys, I have this plan in my head. These are the steps, and we had our own conversations. Like, how many people that like, I need this is how it's gonna be done. Once you have that knowledge, it's easier for people to give you that money, and we'll talk about it off air there. So if Jay-Z says, guys, or Charles, do this.
What if he's like become a rapper? Like, what are you gonna do?
I ain't coming shit.
He's becoming a rapper.
Or I'll ask him how you got Beyonce. How about
I'll come to your shows. Me and Bev will be at your shows.
Because for me, I think that, especially like, I'm a Jay-Z diehard. Like for me, and like we talk about Nipsey, Jay-Z, Kanye West. I think those people just inspire me to business, just to think differently. And I don't think I'd be here right now if it wasn't for that mindset. So like Sasha said, I think already having the work ethic puts you in a favorable position with the knowledge to execute as well. I think that puts me in a better position compared to if I didn't have anything and somebody gave me $500,000, I'd probably be in Dubai if I didn't have the knowledge to execute on like the information.
I see.
I think I'd take the money. I'm sorry, but it's just
Yeah,
too much
put
uncertainty.
it into
Like it's
stocks.
just
Just buy
I'm too
500,000.
scared for that.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll take the money. I'll take the money. I'll take the money.
I don't know.
Do you?
Yo,
It's okay.
yeah, facts, facts.
I
Yo,
believe in you.
I'm trying to make a bill, bro. Yo, a
But
lot of people to me, but I'm trying to make a bill because it's like
did
I'm at a point in my life where it's like go big or go home. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I'll say this: if I told you guys it only takes $5 million to own a hotel, would you go into one?
wait, what?
If a hotel, like let's say a Hilton, costs $5 million to own, would you try to come up with the money to like put 20% down? You say
You'd have to
yes.
but you have to get informed first. You'd have to know how to run a hotel. Like I have no idea how to run a hotel.
Chris, you don't need to know. You just hire somebody who's already operations manager.
Oh yeah, but that's what I mean. You need to have someone
Yeah,
who knows
but if let's say
what
for
to do.
example it's 5 million, okay? Let's say for example 30% dollars probably a custom. That's $1.5 million.
Yeah.
If somebody said, "Okay, I can show you how to get a hotel, but you just need 1.5 million," you'll figure out some way to get 1.5.
Yeah.
I'll ask, I'll go fund me, etc. But having that knowledge to know how
Go
to
for
run
it.
the
Help me buy a
oh
hotel, guys.
yeah. Facts. I'll give you cash back dividends, etc. But once you have that information, then it's different. You start moving differently. Like I'm in a point in my life where I don't say I don't need cash, but I need relationships more than I need cash. Because the money will come regardless. I'm just that confident in my ability to get money. You know, firms are giving money left and right. It's just knowing the right people and being able to communicate your ideas in a proper way where people are able to give them money.
Yeah.
Facts. Final thing, did you guys see Andrew Tate got cancelled? Apparently, he's been banned from Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, facts.
No.
I saw that, but somebody said a good
Why?
argument.
R.I.P.
Somebody said like,
But what
too
did he do?
controversial.
I don't
Too
know. I think
controversial.
too controversial. But that means they've made an algorithm, or like just for him, or is he still gonna pop up?
So he's the new
No,
Donald Trump, basically.
yeah, he got banned like Donald Trump.
Wait,
But
but he's
there's
still
this
gonna pop
other
up, no?
no, there's this other social media platform that's coming up.
So does that mean they
Well,
made an
Be
it's
real.
becoming
algorithm that
popular.
said like if
Be
it's
real
Andrew
or
Tate related?
True Social. You won't see it. You won't see it on Instagram.
What the fuck? Okay.
You'll
Yeah,
see
so they made it.
news, but you won't see his actual like content. It's probably gonna be recycled
But what? But like,
content.
what's the actual reason?
There's no reason. That's
There's no
what's
reason.
crazy. They're just trying to.
It's like
They're
Trump. It's
okay,
like when you're too
enough is enough.
controversial. Yeah.
Hmm.
But somebody said,
We need to
like
have a freedom
like,
of speech episode. I'd like to talk about that.
but you see, listen to this.
I don't like.
Yo,
I don't agree. I don't agree with everything Andrew Tate says. I really don't. Don't get this. Don't get it wrong. But like, I do agree that people should have the right to be able to speak whatever they want.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna look into it. I wanna know what was the trigger. What made that actually happen? Like, what did he do?
I'll just say this because people have to realize that Facebook or Meta isn't a privately owned company. You know, we could say freedom of speech, but it's Facebook and Instagram have their own terms and conditions. If they feel you violated that, they could just remove you.
Yeah, they can shut you down any day.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I think that when people say I want freedom of speech on Twitter, read the terms and conditions. They can remove your account regardless.
Yeah, they were banning. Remember, Joe Rogan did an interview with a guy like during COVID, and they kept deleting it from like every platform, and it was crazy. Like it's so crazy how social media can. Well, I mean, I get it. They have their own terms and conditions.
It's business. It's business, and I think when you think of it like that, it just shows you have to own your own platform or own your own things, so that nobody could tell you this and that. So if I were to make a bold prediction, I think not Andrew Schultz. I think people like Andrew Schultz, Joe Rogan, all controversial people, Donald Trump. There's an app called Truth Social. Are just gonna get together and they're gonna put all the controversial people in there. All the
I think I heard about that too. Yeah.
It's like an social media. You know,
that's where they posted the Joe Rogan interview that got deleted, I think. Yeah.
So
I remember seeing that.
It's a decentralized social media, even though nothing's decentralized, but I think that's probably what's gonna happen. All the people who are controversial are just gonna go on these platforms. All the believers and all the fans are just gonna follow them, and they'll make you pay a monthly subscription for that.
Damn, that's crazy.
Business 101.
Yeah, you're free until they say that you're not free. So
yeah.
But yeah, guys, this was a great episode. I think we've spoke about everything we wanted to speak about, right? Yeah.
I just want to give one last gem for all my Canadians. There's this app
Go.
called Borrow Well. So borrow BORROWELL. It's an app that gives you your credit score weekly, excuse me, without having you to pay for it. I know if you were to request your credit score from Equifax or TransUnion, they make you pay a fee. This app gives you your credit score weekly, gives you updates, gives you your credit bureau history, your transactions.
Are they sponsoring us right now, or?
Nah, but I'll reach out. But essentially, they
We
give you the opportunity to know what's going on with your credit instead of you having a surprise when you're trying to apply for a mortgage.
Thanks. Cool.
Nice.
So
Good to know.
sure they sponsor this episode.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching and subscribing. If you made it this far, leave a gem in the comments, and we will see you next week.